One of the other elements of this entire saga with Donald Trump in Georgia is the fact that he's making it appear as though this is just coming after him. It's absolutely laughable that he would have you believe that he would have America believe that he would have MAGA world, as gullible as they are, believe that. Because at every turn, there has been a Republican testifying against him. This case has been bolstered. This case has been built upon hours and hours and hours of testimony from Republicans. The January 6th committee showed that people who were loyal to Donald Trump, they weren't never Trumpers. These were people who dedicated their jobs and their lives and their efforts and their energies to serving Donald Trump and his agenda in the White House. And for some reason, thankfully, this was a bridge too far for them. And that goes for one of the final witnesses before this grand jury, Geoff Duncan, the former lieutenant governor of Georgia. And he had this to say yesterday. Watch this.
You said this was a pivot point for the country as you came out of the room. What do you hope your testimony accomplished?
Well, I hope my testimony gets the facts, as they are, and helps to continue to paint a real and honest picture. But politically speaking, this is a pivot point for this country to do something more than just stew on the 2020 election cycle, right? We're either going to, as Republicans, take our medicine and realize the election wasn't rigged. Donald Trump was the worst candidate ever in the history of the party, even worse than Herschel Walker. And now we're going to have to pivot from there, right? We want to win an election in 2024. It's going to have to be somebody other than Donald Trump if we do it. So politically speaking, this is an important pivot point for our party, right? To go focus on the things that matter, to take this conversation to America, not to Twitter, not to 10-second sound bites, not to YouTube clips. This is taking this to the kitchen table. I think most Americans care about the economy. I think most Americans care about a porous border. I think most Americans care about national security and public safety. These are issues that we win as Republicans. As long as we make this about the three-ring circus called Donald Trump, we're going to lose every time. And you don't have to go any further than Georgia to see that play out.
Now look, that's a bold statement coming from a leader in the Republican Party in his state, Geoff Duncan, former lieutenant governor, that Donald Trump is the worst candidate in the history of the Republican Party. When you take into, he said, even worse than Herschel Walker. But when you think about the litany of just wild, just bananas candidates that we have seen, we've had literal Nazis run as Republicans, and he's comparing Donald Trump against them, saying they're worse. We had the goof in New York, George Santos. What a beautiful moment that was for me just now, having forgot his name. George Santos, Herschel Walker, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, all of these nuts, these radicals, these extremists, these insurrectionist and insurrectionist adjacent candidates, they're not on par with the badness of Donald Trump. That's saying something. That means something. And that's coming from a conservative, stalwart Republican. This isn't some liberal. This isn't some Kinzinger, and he's not even a liberal, Liz Cheney. This is someone who has dedicated his life and his efforts to the Republican Party. And this is where we are. With half of the Republican, greater than half of the Republican Party saying that these indictments have made them more supportive of Donald Trump, that they will vote for him even if he's languishing in jail. That should tell you everything you need to know about the Republican Party in 2023, leading into a general election cycle in 2024. They are unhinged, and they will stop at absolutely nothing to damage America, to end democracy in our country. They want their agenda, and that is all. They do not care about the will of the American people.
So summertime is in full swing. It's hot. It's humid. When you get sweaty, many of us know all too well what it means when you wear traditional underwear. It's the sticking, rubbing, and chafing. It is not pleasant. That's why our sponsor, Sheath Underwear, has been a game changer for so many people. Sheath underwear is ergonomically designed with a pouch in the front. Keep everything comfortable and separate. When you wear the sheath underwear, everything stays dry and cool. Instead of sticking together, you feel the air flowing. It's great. It's really something you have to try to understand. This has been my go-to underwear for years, all year round, but especially when it's hot outside. The humidity is bonkers. They have plenty of different colors and styles, something for everybody, and the sticking and the readjusting. Experience underwear comfort like you have never felt before. Try Sheath. Go to sheathunderwear.com/Pacman and use the code Pacman for 20% off. That's SHEATH underwear.com/ and use the code Pacman for 20% off. The info is in the podcast notes. Okay, that seems like an error, so I'm going to redo it one more time. That's SHEATH underwear.com/Pacman. Use the code Pacman for 20% off. The link is in the podcast notes.